Hello, y'all, and welcome back to the Playmaker's Corner podcast. I am your host for this stream, Kodey Stoffer, and in case you haven't already, make sure to check out our stream from Saturday featuring Giselle Riley IV and Richard Stallworth from Arizona. Both those guys are class of 23 quarterbacks, and Coach V does a great job of breaking them down. But tonight, we're going to hop back into exclusively Colorado and hop into those smaller towns to talk about some young quarterbacks who are, underclassmen, and only one of them will become an upperclassman this fall season. So, in case you don't know, we will be talking about Casey Midcap of Ray High School. Look at that 4.0. Look at that 4.0. We will also be talking about Ty Reed of Delta High School, another freshman / class of 25 guy. And lastly, we will be talking about Joaquin Sandoval, a class of 24 quarterback out of Glenwood Springs High School. I will be, giving them grades and whatnot in regards to, some of their strengths, areas of improvement maybe, and just overall giving a lowdown here. Oh, there's my rubric. Yep, I'm going to snatch that over for myself here. Still getting that screen kind of set up. But anyways, if you haven't, go ahead and follow these guys on Twitter. That's at Joaquin7Sando for Joaquin Sandoval, at Ty_Reed7. And this very first quarterback who we are going to talk about, Casey Midcap out of Ray High School. And so, just going to give some background here as far as, Casey and what all he's been featured on for us here at the podcast. Casey Midcap was our 1A Newcomer of the Year. The Newcomer of the Year award isn't necessarily to a first-time starter, but it is to a Freshman of the Year kind of candidate. And you can go ahead and listen to that anywhere you listen to podcasts. And let me go ahead and look up the episode for you, where we talk about him, and then we also talk about, our guy, Ty Reed as well on the 2A award. So, go ahead and keep an ear out for that. Okay, so the 2A award is episode 95. So that's Colorado High School Football 2A End of the Year Awards. We do a little synopsis of Ty Reed's year and stuff like that. And then on episode 93, episode 93, that is our 1A
What's good, y'all?
End of the Year Awards. So go ahead and check that out anywhere you listen to podcasts for a little bit more on Casey Midcap here. But Casey, what can't be said, this young quarterback led his team to the semifinals in 1A football and, played pretty phenomenally and impressively for these Ray Eagles here. So just as a reminder, the things that I am going to grade these quarterbacks on is arm power, arm accuracy, timing on throws, overall mechanics / fluidity, decision-making skills, scramble ability, throw on the run ability, pocket awareness, pocket movement, and frame / size. All of those will be graded out of 10. 1 through 3 needs improvement. 4 through 6 is average. The 4 is kind of like, what I ask out of a basic starter. Like, can you do this? Yes, they can. It's nothing spectacular. Then 5 and 6 is kind of a progression of that. 7 to 8, above average to good. It's like, okay, this is a solid skill. This is a consistent skill for this player. 8 to 9, good to great. This is a skill that you can rely on to make some wow plays from time to time and is overall very consistent. And then 9 to 10 is elite or 4/5 star kind of talent there for a specific skill. So with all of that in mind here, let's go ahead and take a look kind of at Ray's season here. For those who weren't following, don't worry. We here at Playmaker's Corner, we're keeping a close tab on these Ray Eagles who started off the season, very impressively in this 2022 season, or 2021-2022 season. But, it came up with only a 2-touchdown loss to the eventual state champions in Centauri. So, that in and of itself is pretty impressive. But, by this time, Casey Midcap did not have the starting job, so that is something to kind of keep an eye on. So they start off with a loss, then they get a win over Goodland and Estes Park before Casey Midcap makes his debut against Burlington High School. Now, I'm not sure if an injury maybe happens or if somebody loses their job or what have you, but either way, all that matters is that Casey Midcap is the starter by this point in the season. And in his very first debut, pretty pedestrian, 3 for 6, 44 yards. Wasn't really asked to do all that much against this Burlington team that Ray clearly outmatched. But, you start to see, I guess he did get some carries in that Estes Park game. So, he is a dual threat quarterback. I can say that fairly confidently, and you will see that reflected in some of his rushing numbers. But he can also throw the ball around the yard, as evidenced by his first, kind of monumental win against Wiggins, one of the top teams in 1A football. They will probably be a top team in 1A football again this year. And he was able to beat this Wiggins team, who had a very solid defense and a very solid pass rush, and still overcame them with phenomenal completion percentage, perfect touchdowns, no interceptions, and then, also picked up another 58 yards on the ground. He has a very similar performance against Holyoke, another, contender on that 1A level, another playoff team on that 1A level. Then you see his first struggle game against Lyman here. This is a game that they got drubbed in, and, this would be a repeat kind of performance as he went 4 of 14 for 67 yards. And overall just struggled a lot throughout this game. Couldn't even really get anything going on the ground either. So, some learning to do against one of the best programs in the entire state of Colorado, much less at the 1A level. So, that's to be expected. Then he struggles a lot against this Yuma squad that did make the playoffs. The Eagles still scrape out a win, but this is a very close game, that was hard moving. Tough sledding, as they would say. Then, face off against Burlington here, still kind of struggling. He doesn't really bounce back, I would say, until this Highland game. Granted, still against Yuma, he did run for quite a few yards. So there's that. He attributed for both touchdowns in their win. So there's that. But against Highland, bounces back 15 of 20, 162 yards, 2 scores, adds on another 55 yards on the ground. That's a phenomenal performance. Struggled a lot in this Florence game. This was a playoff game, so, that's maybe to be expected against a very solid Florence squad. But, Ray still comes out with the victory. And then their semifinal game, which I really love to see here, is improvement. You look at these numbers, 4 of 14 against Lyman the first time. Then you look at these, 8 of 27 the second time. And that doesn't include, I want to say, like 4 or 5 drops. I watched this game over stream. And, I was pretty impressed with Casey Midcap. I thought that he was giving pretty good looks to his receivers and tight ends and utilizing his weapons very well. And that's something that you have to be excited for if you are a Ray fan. And so all of that in consideration, let's go ahead and hop on over to his huddle here and watch these freshman highlights. These are the ones that were submitted to us. So I'm going to go through this, and then I might kind of pick through some of these other games just for more film and more breakdown and whatnot. So, but once again, I want to emphasize 4.0 GPA. That's pretty dang good. And, for a freshman, weighing in at, here, let me hop back here. 6 foot, 155 pounds. That's really not too bad. I think that he still has a little bit to grow. He is on the lighter side, but I think he also wrestles and or runs track and or does both. So, some weight fluctuation is probably to be expected of this young gun here. But let's check out Casey Midcap here, our 1A newcomer of the year. Well, I guess let's watch an ad first. That kind of stinks. But anyways, I can put his frame and size in here. 6 foot, so that's pretty nice. 150 pounds. He's a bit on the lighter side. So we'll just go right there. And I have to enter in the formula anyway so that it adds up the points as we go. Bang. Okay. So he's already at like a 5.9. All right, Casey Midcap, let's see it. All right. Bit of a wind-up, but that was a fantastic throw. That's a good way to start off the film. Here they are just annihilating someone. Okay, shrugs it off. And outruns the defenders into the end zone. What a way to finish that run. All right, we got a play action rollout, so we'll see some throw on the run here. Pushes it downfield pretty well. It's not bad. That was a decent strike. All right, this looks like Wiggins, but I'm not sure. All right, that's a pretty good back shoulder throw to his wide receiver. I love that Ray has this multiple offense where they can kill you in a variety of ways. Okay, so this is where I'm going to correct him for the first time here. So part of it, I want to say, is that his windup does take a little bit of time here. Like, ugh, that's way too slow, so that is something to focus on. But as far as this throw goes, I mean, maybe this receiver needs to kind of push it downfield a little bit more. But I would say this is an underthrow. I think that this receiver, I mean, look at the size mismatch here. I think you should put this ball here and let him just get into the end zone. This is a phenomenal catch, don't get me wrong. And if you're looking for a back shoulder, that's fine. But I think that the go route is there. And I think that that's something that you can lead your receiver on a little bit better. And that's going to be kind of a timing thing that'll also be tied in a little bit with, you know, the overall mechanics, I would say. They're not horrible, but you need to get that throwing motion a lot faster this offseason. All right, QB keeper. Excellent field vision. Oh my gosh, plows that Yuma defender. Good lord. All right, escapes the pressure and gets rid of the pass. Excellent pocket awareness, honestly, and ability to adapt and throw on the run. All right, here we go here. That's a clean pocket. Doesn't know if he likes it. You got to put that ball in a place where they can make a play on it. You know what I mean? So just little accuracy and timing things and maybe a little bit of hesitancy. So I think that might come in decision-making skills just a little bit here is where that point reflection might be. So we'll go there for that. Let's keep watching through here. Okay, way to follow your blocks and get into the end zone. Nice score. That's a little more like it, but oh my gosh, gets leveled on this throw. But what a dot. That is a beautiful throw. Let's take another look at that one. Okay, so first off, kudos to Casey here because he gets smashed on this. Oh my lord, the blitz pickup was not there. He recognized this. Oh, this drop back looks a little funky though. Looks a little funky, but anyways, he realizes that he has to get rid of it now as he's staring it in the face. Gets rid of it, takes the hit like a champ, and look at this dime. Over the corner, in front of the safety. Great catch by this receiver here as well. That is a good throw. Wow, gosh, that guy mossed the heck out of him. It looks like he had a big body this year to kind of help with some of these targets. Okay, way to escape pressure and pick up the first down. Good field awareness on the scramble. Lots of 500 balls, which, I mean, was working, obviously, but maybe not the decision-making that oh, that's sweet. You could push it a little bit more outside, but he understands the capabilities of his receivers, is something I will say. Nice! Look at this throw. All right. So, okay. The only thing I don't like here, not on his half, but schematically, is how many that they keep back to protect. It's not going to show as much development in awareness or movement or anything like that, along with having less decisions to kind of look through. But this is a beautiful throw. I wouldn't want it any other way. That's fantastic, Casey. That is a great throw. Oh, I guess let me check back on the Twitch stream here to make sure that I'm not missing any chats. Okay, no. I'm just going to say welcome to the stream. If you have any comments, go ahead. Comments or questions, go ahead and put them down. Okay, so I'm going to play some more of Casey's highlights. This right here is where I wish that Huddle had a... Wade is his tight end and is committed to Wyoming. Thank you, Simon Angelo 56, aka Coach V, making his way in. And yes, he is 84, and he is that. I knew his name, but yeah, he's fantastic. Here, we can even double check here in the stats and put him on a little bit here. Yep, there he is. Tell Wade, who had a phenomenal year on both the offensive and defensive side of the ball, mind you. Also, he's like... He still has a whole year to dominate, so there's that. So, okay, no, on the defensive side of the ball, 20.5 tackles for loss, so not quite there, but let's just go ahead and take a look at the player stats. Thank you, Corsi, for helping us. Oh, Schoenthal. Okay, yep. I knew that I heard of his name. Look, 8 touchdowns, just a big body, 31 receptions, and making great plays. So Bryant Schoenthal, senior this year, actually. So congrats to Bryant for having a great year. And thank you, Corsi, for tuning in and letting us know who is who. But I'm going to go ahead and just play through some more of these highlights here and go ahead and try and wrap up some grades and whatnot. I'm going to go ahead and let this Lyman one play. Yes, both were monsters. That is absolutely correct, Coach V. See, the only difference is that Wade is going to be back this year, and he's going to cause some serious problems on that 1A level. So, all right. So, let's go ahead. Oh, that what a close throw. I'm going to go ahead and put that at like a... Some of these are really risky throws, so that will be reflected in decision making. And then I will watch through his highlight reel one more time just to finalize some grades and maybe bump him up a point or bump him down a point here and there. So overall, I mean, he had a spectacular year for a freshman quarterback, but overall does need to iron out some things and does need to just show me more in some areas. So what a play by Schoenthal. And I think that was their last game of the season. I think that was a playoff game there. And not shown is like way too many drops by some of his receivers. So, all right, let's go ahead and play this again. Probably going to have to wait through an ad. All right, and just one more kind of peep over here. Make sure he wasn't turning the ball over too many times here. 2-to-1 TD to INT ratio, 3 rushing touchdowns. Yeah, not too shabby. Where's my eye emoji here? Eyes. No results. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and start this from the top just to make sure that I get as good of a grade as I possibly can out of this in the most honest way possible. So, okay. Jeez Louise. These Ray boys, man, they play very tough. And they are a serious threat to win state next year, so best be on the lookout here. With a passing of the torch, perhaps. But got to get past Lyman, though. Pull the trigger on that sooner and get the ball just a little bit more accurate there. It's also kind of a timing thing. That ball is really wobbly when it comes out. But this throw is just spectacular. Now, I want to put out there that this was only his freshman year. So if this grade isn't, something overwhelming, don't be shocked. I'm here to help him improve, okay? His arm power is pretty nice with it. Okay, I think I have come to a final verdict here on Casey Midcap. So go ahead and just leave it on his Twitter so that you make sure that you follow him. That's at Casey Midcap from Ray. And so let's go ahead and check it out here. So, all right. Ugh. Okay. So Casey Midcap, my final grade for him is at a 56.9. You could call this a 50. Honestly, we're just going to call this a 57. Because I'm not really worried about his frame or size. He's only a freshman. He's already 6 foot, 160 pounds basically. So that'll only go up. But let's talk passing here. I think that his arm power and his scramble ability are his best assets. Not to mention he can throw on the run pretty well. He does, show some improvisational skills here that I think, come from this kind of generation of football, and just watching it is kind of a status quo at this point. But he's very good at making plays, saving plays, and delivering strikes. And, honestly, I'm going to bump it up to that upon... And this is part of what the process looks like, is that, I watched through the film a couple of times. I watched a whole game of his, mind you. So, maybe 2 whole games, actually, if I watched multiple playoff games. Yeah. So I watched through multiple games of his. I understand situationally kind of what he's looking at, conceptually what's going on. And I will also throw him a bone here and there as well as I clarify some things. But his arm power is very good. He's able to fit it into some tight windows. He also is able to put a lot of velocity and push the ball down the field. I wouldn't say that there's any throws arm power-wise that really, knock my socks off necessarily. But his arm power is very good for where he is at. And his arm power, I don't think, is the problem for some of his misfires or passes here. Continuing on, he's a great scrambler. I don't think that it's very well reflected in the stats. A 5-yard average, that's solid. I wouldn't be surprised if that jumps up or even doubles within this next year, just because of the athleticism that he's capable of, the moves that he's capable of, and also the strength in his arms. He has a pretty decent stiff arm, and I think that all of those things add up to him being able to, rip off some big gains, move the chains. He's situationally aware is something that he's already shown me, not only in his film, but watching the Lyman game, he's very cognizant of the first down. He tries to put the ball where the first down marker is. He tries to run and get to the first down marker. He's a pretty smart player. So that is something that I will, honestly bump up his decision-making skills for just a hair here. Maybe even a little bit more. Because he shows promise on, read options and stuff as well. So that's why I bumped that up a couple of points. Continuing on, they ask him to boot out and deliver strikes, and he can do that. And then you can also see it in his improvisational skills, once again, his ability to kind of escape a collapsing pocket and, make a good throw here. And then last, he's 6 foot, 155, almost 60 pounds. So, talking about some things that I think could use some improvement or more focus than others, I'd say that, even though his accuracy and timing come in sparkling appearance a couple of times throughout his film, there are also some inconsistencies throughout his film, as well as in the game film, where it's like, that throw is like just a hair too outside, or, oh, you pushed that throw a little too far, or even on the film, you can see like, oh, why did he wait so long to throw that? Or that's not where the receiver is anymore. So I think that that's mainly a timing thing. But they do get massive bumps because of, the last throw on his film is pretty incredible. I think that also his timing on intermediate routes is pretty solid, as well as, some of the comeback routes and hitch routes that I saw a lot of in the Lyman game. Those are big time timing routes, and he is able to secure that. So, he does a great job on those aspects of the game, and I think that that is a reason why they get bumped up to that above par and that solid kind of range in the 5s. Let's see. Okay, now for some real areas of improvement here. Big time focuses in the offseason. I think that pocket awareness is something that's kind of hard to develop when you get almost a max protect kind of look. However, there are instances where he kind of doesn't really react until the pressure is already there. When, pocket awareness, he should be able to not really have to stare the pressure in the face and be able to react to it. However, he does show pocket awareness in instances where he does get rid of the ball a little bit quicker or things like that. So that's why it's almost at that solid range, is because I see the upside, I see the potential, and he does make some good plays displaying pocket awareness. However, it's just not quite at that, good or even great level. His pocket movement, there are times where he escapes the pocket, and I think that's good and plays into his scramble ability and improvisational skills and whatnot. However, there are a lot of plays where he kind of fades backwards and away, and then he kind of throws off his back foot. That is not a habit that you want to uphold. That is something that you are going to want to change this offseason, and otherwise defenses are going to turn that into interceptions. So don't throw off your back foot, don't fade in the pocket. So then over here, decision-making skills, I gave it a little bit more of an increase because of his ability to see the field. And, he also had a positive touchdown to INT ratio, which is a great thing to see from a freshman quarterback. That's honestly like the first telltale sign that they probably will be spectacular. But he's also not asked to make a ton of decisions. I saw a lot of one-read throws in his Lyman game. If the first read isn't there, he can kind of panic a little bit. Even when the first read is there, as you saw on his film on that fade route that he kind of overthrew to the boundary a little bit, is, he just needs to be assertive and confident in the decisions that he is making. And then they need to open up the playbook a little bit more for him. I know that they have talent at a variety of positions. And, he was a freshman quarterback, so it's to be expected that maybe, it's not the most complicated playbook in the history of the universe or in the state of Colorado. However, I do think that he has shown enough through his freshman year and through his continued work in the offseason to warrant an expanded playbook and the keys to this offense. So that's my opinion on decision-making skills. It's not the worst thing to have rated lower when you are a rookie quarterback, just because you will have so much time to grow. And this is one of the harder things to get a great score on. So I think that this is a great start for Casey Midcap here. And then overall mechanics and fluidity, like I said, his footwork can be a bit jumbled sometimes. I'm even going to bump this down just a little bit here. His footwork can be a little jumbled. His drop back can look clunky. His arm motion takes way, way too long, mechanically speaking. So he's just going to have to rep a lot, get that release a lot faster, get your footwork and your base more consistent to throw off of. And, I think he does a good job of engaging his body when throwing. However, it's maybe not always consistent the way that he does engage because his drop back and his release are not always consistent. So this is an epitome of consistency is the biggest thing that I have to stress for Casey Midcap here. And, that's to be expected of a freshman quarterback. If they haven't been doing it for years or, they didn't even do it all season, consistency is going to be the biggest thing to win us over here at the Playmaker's Corner. For further analysis on, his ability to win Newcomer of the Year and what he meant specifically to the Ray season more so, please go ahead and listen to episode 93, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor, anywhere you listen to podcasts, basically. I want to say he's like the first 15 minutes is kind of the discussion of a lot of those Newcomer of the Year, and then his victory is the last 5 minutes or so of that hour-long episode, or 5 minutes of that first 15, I should say. But that's Casey Midcap here, graded out of 57.2. Let us know in the stream, if there's anything that you disagree with, anything that you do agree with. If Casey is tuning in, we'd love to hear about, some of your approaches and what you may have been focusing on the offseason that you thought you needed to focus on a little bit more. But overall, I think that Casey Midcap is a potential championship-winning quarterback on the 1A level and gives Ray a fantastic shot to secure such a thing, not only heading into the sophomore year of his campaign, but as well as his junior and senior year. He's one of the next great 1A quarterbacks to, have a shot at going D1 for sure. And I would just like to remind everyone, just because they're from a small school doesn't mean that they're less talented. If Casey Midcap lived over in the Arapahoe High School area, there's a chance that he's getting JV snaps or even competing for varsity snaps at times because of, everything that he can show being an all-around quarterback. So don't hold against the kid the classification or size of school because it's just based off of where they live. So that's Casey Midcap, and that is a good note to keep in mind as we continue through this stream. So once again, give Casey a follow at Casey Midcap. And good golly, I cannot stress enough, 4.0 GPA is going to make all your recruiting a lot easier. Student, athlete, this is the biggest accomplishment for Casey Midcap. Forget the stats, the semifinal appearance, forget all of that. Forget, my ratings here or PMC's ratings or his PMC Newcomer of the Year award. This 4.0 GPA means the absolute most, and he needs to continue with that. So, great work there. Oh, look at him putting in work. Oh, yep, there's Tell Wade committed to Wyoming. He's going to be a dog. But anyways, that's Casey Midcap. Let's go ahead and jump to our next freshman quarterback here, and that is Ty Reed out of Delta High School, who also won Newcomer of the Year on episode 95 of the Playmaker's Corner. He's within those first 15 minutes. Go ahead and listen to us talk about all of those great newcomers and, who we placed our votes for and how Ty Reed ended up winning it. It is one of my favorite episodes. I love the end of the year awards. So, go ahead and check that out. And let's jump into Ty Reed here. But first, I'm going to just put in the chat, final grade for Casey Midcap, 57.2. What would you grade him? Up next, Ty Reed. Also, thank you guys so much for tuning into our stream. I know that we've jumped between 11 and 15 before. Make sure to go ahead and follow us on Twitch so you get notifications whenever we do stream, as we're trying to do it more often. But anyways, Ty Reed out of Delta High School. This guy was a manimal this year. And let's go ahead and give you the numbers behind the story. I mean, look, 13 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. That's almost a 3-to-1 ratio. And then, another 14 touchdowns on the ground. It was hard to argue against 27 total touchdowns when discussing Newcomer of the Year. And there were some great players at Newcomer of the Year for the 2A level. So I think that these are great things to keep in mind. And, a pretty decent playoff run. It wasn't semifinals, but it was, I want to say, quarterfinals maybe. Because they beat Moffitt. Oh, this is the 22 schedule. This does me literally no good. But Ty Reed is another guy who kind of had to work his way in there. You know what I mean? So let's go ahead and take a look. He didn't get this very first start against Summit High School. He did end up playing against Salida, which is one of those southern and western, southwest kind of teams. And, he had to earn his keep here because he got very limited looks against Salida. Ugh, I'm all over the place. And then limited looks over and over again until he was handed the keys later down the stretch here and was asked to do a lot more. and delivered a lot more. But all of that being said, let's go ahead and take a look here. He did lead a pretty incredible Delta squad. I believe that they won their league, if I'm not mistaken, and sent them into the playoffs against Alamosa, where they did get a win, and then ran into the buzzsaw that was the super stacked and host to one of our top 5 senior quarterback list makers in Greg Garza. But that's a very good university team to have a struggle against, and great experience for a freshman in high school. So, and I don't see any stats from him this game, so I don't even know if he played. But anyways, talking about Ty Reed, just jumping through, like I said, not a lot of looks in this Salida game. His first, kind of multiple attempts here against Palisade, who's an incredible 3A opponent. So playing up against higher competition, or a different classification of competition with more kids, did throw for 118 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. So, all of that as well. Also, pardon me, I'm going to ask my dogs to politely quiet down. Sorry about that. Thank you for your patience here. Yes, Simon, it was a dog moment. I have 2 dogs. They're really awesome. Hopefully you guys get to meet them someday on a Twitch stream or something. But for now, they are being just a little pesky. But in this Palisade game, struggled. This is a very talented offense and defense to go against, especially if you're trying to outshoot, this running attack. It's going to prove to be difficult. But that didn't stop him from bouncing back and having a great performance against Montezuma Cortez, and then a perfect performance, I would say, against Cole Ridge here, where he was responsible for 5 touchdowns. Might have even been a Playmaker of the week, or at least a candidate during that week. That was very impressive in his showing. So, you have all that. As a passer, takes another great step here against Aspen, passing for a career-high 189 yards on 11 attempts, 2 scores, and then tacking on another 4 scores on the ground, so a 6 touchdown performance to outdo his 5 touchdown performance from the week before. Basalt, this is a very quality opponent. This was an eventual playoff team, is what I meant to say, and he tore them up. 5 of 7, throwing as many touchdowns as he did in completions, over 71% completion percentage. I mean, the numbers really do speak for themselves here. Another 4 touchdown performance. Kind of struggles against Moffat County. This is a great rivalry, and one that we will be keeping track of, especially this upcoming year, because they have one of the best running backs in this upcoming class in Evan Atkin, who's just a monster to stop. So, but they eke out a win here. He does what he needs to do, and, the rest of the team obviously steps up and helps him out here as they secure a win. Then they just drub Rifle to end the season. And, in his lone playoff game that they at least have listed here, struggled a lot passing the ball. This is a very tough Alamosa defense, to be fair. But, 2 of 7, I think that was his lowest completion percentage on the entire year. Yes, it was. It was his lowest completion percentage, through 2 interceptions, only 1 touchdown. And then, kind of got it done on the ground, but still struggled quite a bit for a playoff debut. It's good experience. He has a playoff win under his belt, technically, but definitely something to kind of keep track of. And if anyone has any insight to any of these games, obviously we can't make it to every single game, so we appreciate any positive insight to kind of just let us know what happened. But all that being said, I'm going to drag my rubric over here for Ty Reed, and I am going to start watching this young man's highlights. We got 5 minutes to look through. There should be plenty of time. Oh, and we get right into it. No intro, so be ready. Yep, there he is. He's a quarterback. Way to plant a throw where only your receiver can get it. Here, I want to go back and look at his other options on this play. Yeah, this defensive back just jams this wide receiver to all heck. This is the right decision. He makes it at the correct time as the pocket is kind of collapsing. Interesting follow through trying to avoid the pressure, but that's okay. That is an incredible pass. Oh my lord. So play fake. Looks the defense off to the left. And I feel like he senses this pressure here because he's already ready already. If that checks out. And just delivers a great pass. Oh, you can't ask for anything better. I'm going to watch it one more time and just admire it. What a dot. Here, let's go. That's a interesting throwing motion, but a great throw nonetheless. It just looked kind of choppy for some reason. Okay. Got to put a little bit more juice on that one. We know that you have it in you. He floats a lot of these passes, maybe for a little too long. I don't know if that is just a mechanics thing. Oh, that's a great throw. That receiver probably dropped it, but that's a phenomenal throw. Put him on your film anyway. Unless that's just a different angle of it, then that's just sweet. So throwing a little variety of routes here, always something to be excited about. Delivers a nice strike. That's against Palisade too. Looks like his receiver takes it pretty far up the side as well. All right, here we go. Doesn't quite hit him in stride, but still gives him a catch that he can take all the way to the house, so we'll take it. Maybe he needs a little bit of improvement on timing. He's asked to roll out a lot, so he's a pretty decent thrower on the run. Nice touch. His touch on these throws is fantastic. Like, phenomenal, even. His timing does need a decent amount of work. But it's still possible. Oh, why is he throwing it up so high? He got really lucky that that defensive back doesn't know how to play a ball. That could have been an interception. Nice. Get it to your guy in open space. Let him make a play. Double clutches. Still delivers a nice strike. He has good arm power, honestly. All right. Keeper trucks that guy. Holy cow. Sit down. All right. We have another keeper here on a read option. Takes an angle to get the first. Nice. Steps up in the pocket. Great pocket movement. Holy crap, that's spectacular. Gets a little flat-footed, though. His mechanics, I think, need quite a bit of work. And you got another keeper. Just splits him right up the middle. Tough runner. He's got a good frame and size, by the way. He's like 6'3", 175 pounds, I want to say. So he's already at a pretty good size. Just a little screen pass. Little high, but his receiver brings it in. Oh, sweet. I love me some hook and ladder action. Okay, we got a QB dive or power. His and Casey Midcap's running styles are very different, but both yield results. All right. Way to not toss a turnover and cut it back across field. That's athletic. A little too outside there, buddy. Way to muscle your way up there. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and restart this for you guys while I go ahead and make some final decisions here. Let's go ahead and check back up on the chat here. Oh, and if you haven't already, follow at Ty_Reed7 on Twitter. That's where you can get a lot of this good stuff here. Oh, there's his season stats. 15 rushing touchdowns. That must have happened in like a game that he had to get subbed out for or something. Not really sure. So, wow. Yep, there's Scarnhorst too. Remember talking about him. Let's go ahead and let that play through while I kind of finalize some of these grades. Absolute dots on some of these throws, man. But his touch needs a little less emphasis, is probably what I would say. Huddle has more accurate stats for Joaquin. Okay. Not sure how to access Joaquin. Sandoval, Glenwood Springs High School Huddle. Let's see. Where do I look for stats on this? Maybe in About. Team history. Do you mean on your video, Joaquin? I have my final grade for Ty Reed, so I'm just going to mute myself as we kind of square this away. All right, we will cross that bridge further when we get to it, but let's go ahead and take a look at this rubric here for Ty Reed. Always, as always, subject to change the more that I look at it. But anyways, Ty Reed here, I have him rated at around a 59.3, and I'm going to talk about some reasons why. He does have some very good strengths, though, here. Scramble ability, I have it rated at a 7.4. He's not necessarily the fastest, but he is a very strong runner. Now, I'm going to even bump it down to like a 7.3 because I'd want to see a little bit more agility. But overall, he's a fantastic runner and somebody who you can trust from 5 yards in to get you into the end zone, which is worth something. So upon further thought, we're going to bounce back and forth to a 7.6. Further on that, I think that he is a very accurate passer. I think that he's asked to put it into some tough spots, and he does a great job of, getting it in the area of the receiver to make a play on it, and overall, showing exceptional skill at doing so. Arm power here, I have it rated at a 6.3. I think it's solid. He is able to push the ball downfield a little bit. I think that he does rely a little bit too much on arc for some of his arm power, so I do want to see his velocity. Okay, perfect. I do want to see some more velocity on some of his throws, especially intermediate throws and short throws. I just want to see it get there with a lot more zip, a lot more consistently. Furthermore, on things that he does very well, I mean, look, he's already 6'3", 175 pounds. That's a great frame of size. That's almost something you can live with on the next level. And by almost, I mean probably around like there. So, pocket movement. He does a great job of stepping up in the pocket. He manipulates the pocket very well. I was very impressed by his ability to do that, step up in the pocket, escape the pocket, and whatnot. He has all of those capabilities. I think that it could be a little bit cleaner footwork-wise, and, he can still show more. So consistency is another kind of model that we are going to be looking for. As far as some things that he's okay at, he's okay at throwing on the run, but you can tell that his accuracy struggles a little bit because passes start ending up behind receivers, and they have to reach back, or things around that area. It's just not right on target every time. He can throw on the run really well, but it's not on target every time. Pocket awareness. I think that he does a pretty decent job of recognizing blitzes and adapting to them. There are some times where he doesn't notice it until it is there, so that's why it's right here at that solid grade of a 5.5 here. So there's that. Timing on throws. This is like a coin toss, right? Because either it's an absolute dime that is right on time, or I think that his timing is more the issue with his inaccuracy from right to left. Okay, so I think that he just has to maybe get some more time, some more throws with his receivers, figure out chemistry stuff. I think that that'll kind of bridge the gap on his timing, but it is very wish-washy and flip-floppy throughout his film. We can at least do that. Areas of improvement. I just improved this a little bit. Overall mechanics and fluidity. It still does need a lot of work. He is very raw, I would say, and he does cheat on his passes a little bit. Sometimes he throws flat-footed instead of driving into his passes. Sometimes, he just throws with his arm. It's just super-duper inconsistent, and just comes off maybe a little lazy sometimes. So just being more disciplined, throwing the football, putting more of an emphasis on, hey, here's what I got to do on every single throw, become that model of consistency, and, go ahead and achieve that, all right? This is not a full comparison necessarily, so I am just going to white that out so we're all focused on Tyree. Anyways, other things that he needs to work on, decision-making skills. He takes way too many risky passes. He needs to go through more reads and, just take care of the football a little bit better here. I think that he lucked out on some missed, jumped passes and stuff like that. Things that, if you continue to make those mistakes in the playoffs, you're never going to get past the quarterfinals or the semifinals, okay? So you got to be more protective of the football, and you got to be smarter with the football and make better decisions. I do love the big route tree that he does get to throw. That is, a little bit of a boost for his decision-making skills, but overall, he still has a long, long way to go on that. And honestly, I think that was a part of the boost that I initially gave him. So, all of that being accounted for, I have his final grade at a 59.4. I think that is a pretty solid grade for a freshman quarterback. Once again, a lot of it comes down to just consistency and timing. These are some of the timing and decision-making are some of the biggest struggles that any young quarterback will potentially have. And so, it's not a big surprise to see these kind of on the address list. And, if I'm Tyree, this gives me plenty to work on in the offseason. He's already a very solid pocket, kind of guy. He has great scrambling, and he's a very accurate passer. It's just a matter of making it consistent and, on the money in motion. That's where that timing kind of comes from, and getting it to your guy while they're on the run. And, understanding that with your drop back, his drop back needs a little bit of work. and more consistency. If you're able to clean up that footwork quite a bit, I think everything else will progressively improve, from the dropbacks to the deliveries to the driving of the ball. I think that drives all of these up potentially a whole point if he just becomes a more consistent mechanical passer, and gives Delta probably a 3-year run on this, or 4-year run on this league potentially. So that's that. And then final grade for Ty Reed, 59.4. Athletic, big, accurate, just more on the raw side, like most freshman quarterbacks may end up being. So congratulations to our 2A newcomer of the year. Go ahead and listen to that. That is episode 95 for reasoning on Ty Reed, as well as some other great talent on that episode. But, that is going to do it for our guy here. And last but not least, we have Joaquin Sandoval. First off, thank you, Joaquin, so much for your patience. I know that you've been waiting a long time for this breakdown, and we appreciate everyone who's been very patient with our requests. We had to get through all the seniors first, and we're going to be wrapping up our seniors, kind of with this week and the next week in Colorado high school football. So if you do want your film broken down and requested, please make sure to go to one of our social medias. That's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and go to the link tree in the bio. There is a Google form in all of those, and it is a request form. That is what Joaquin, Ty, and Casey all filled out to get, an opportunity to get broken down on this Twitch stream or on one of our episodes. That's where a lot of our senior players have come from. So make sure to get those in as soon as possible, because graduation is coming up for you seniors. And after that, we're kind of not looking back and doubling back for class of 22 guys. I think that we only have maybe 10 left. So, our request episodes will be taking a bit of a step back in numbers, but don't worry, we will still have a lot of content for you. And maybe I'll get caught up on my TikToks. So go ahead and check those out, as well as Mason Austin's TikToks. But with all that plug out of the way, I'm going to drag this back where it belongs over here on the rubric side of things. And I'm going to close out of these. And once again, if you haven't, go ahead and follow at Ty_Reed7 on Twitter. So, and thank you for retweeting our stuff and whatnot as we talked about you. All right. That brings us to last but certainly not least, at least the oldest of our quarterbacks here in Joaquin Sandoval, the 5'11", 160-pound, and 3.5 GPA. That's a good student right there. Out of Glenwood Springs High School, I broke down a couple of Glenwood Springs players, in the past, and they show us a lot of support on social media. So obviously, shout out to Glenwood Springs for being a great plug here. And Glenwood, there's somebody who has a great pipeline, I think, to Western. And so any success that Western has, Glenwood Springs can be, prideful in being a part of that. So, there's all of that going on. But Joaquin Sandoval, about to start talking about his film here. And yeah, we're going to put that there. And we're going to change the fill here. Just making sure that I got all my stuff in order. And that we have his overall ready to go. And that needs to be in that. Okay, so I got my rubric ready off to the side here. I got the chat open in case anyone has anything that they need to clarify, just like Joaquin did, explaining, hey, the most accurate parts will be in my huddle video. So let's go ahead and bust this open. He also submitted this YouTube video. I don't know if they're any different, and if they are, we will be watching both. So I think it's going to be in this. We're going to be that. This is exactly what he was talking about. So 1,033 passing yards, 9 touchdowns, 216 rushing yards, 10 rushing touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. So a little over that 2-to-1 INT or TD to INT ratio, and that is something that we will keep a little bit of an eye on here. Also, sorry to mute your sweet mixtape here, Joaquin, but I got the passive noise in the background. Nice. Dang, that guy is wide open. All right, showing a little bit from under center. Way to engage your body in this throw here. I'm just going to go back to this. So look at this drop back. Okay, sells play fake, gets his hips flipped, has a nice base, maybe a little wide, but, gets this arm motion very quick here and delivers a strike. Probably could have pushed it a little bit ahead of him, but I don't think that's necessarily an arm power thing. That's probably a timing thing. So, and then is this Blake Nieslanik making a play here? It just might be. So, all right. Now we're rolling out right here, tucking it, giving a little bit of shake and bake. Spin. Oh my lord! Jeez, Joaquin, you need to calm down, bro. I mean, incredible heart display on here, but oh my gosh, if I was your coach, I would be freaking out having a heart attack here. Look at this hit that he takes. Oh my gosh, it's like a messed up version of the helicopter, but he gets right back up. Adrenaline pumping. Oh, shrugs off. 2.5 men, 3.5 men, gets a pass off to his running back. This is some Patrick Mahomes, like, improvisational, eyes up stuff. He's like, ah. Now, this is obviously a very dangerous, very, very, very dangerous play here. But, it works out. Let's see. Sandville Bombero 32 said, yes, it is. I'm assuming to the Nice Atlantic comment. That'd be my assumption. Or it's his coach saying that, yes, I literally had a heart attack on the sideline. Okay, perfect. Thank you for clarifying that. I broke down his film not that long ago. I will plug that episode here in a second after watching Joaquin's film. Oh, this turns into quite the play, too. Okay. The only concern here... Oh, that is a great throw. The only concern I'm having here so far is just looking at how long he holds onto the ball. So maybe a little bit of pocket awareness increase. This looks like it's against Palisade. Oh, what a throw right in front of the safety. Very risky throw, but one that he can make. That's good timing and awareness on that. And he's got a very strong arm. Look at that pass. I love his quick release, too. He's got a powerful arm. You can just see the velocity on all of his throws that, he can really sling it. Just keep running. Works out anyway. Touchdown, Glenwood Springs. Yep, the icon here. All right, we got a rushing touchdown here. Okay, QB draw. Lots of QB draws for this athletic and speedy quarterback here. Oh my gosh, he just makes so much room out of the sideline, which is so insane. Oh, what a throw. Comes back across field. What an incredible scrambler. Pretty good throw on the run, too, honestly. And his mechanics are pretty sound. Really, really. Another touchdown there. His feet are a little close together, but that might just be his height. A little bit across, but honestly, these mechanics, you can live with a lot of these. It's not flawless, but the very fast release helps it out pretty significantly. Okay, holds it. Takes off. I think that holding it might be... I think that's a decision-making thing, as well as, maybe a pocket awareness thing from time to time. But what a great zip on that pass. God, his arm power is just incredible. And he's a pretty accurate passer as well, I might add. Oh, carry him. Is this Roosevelt? I don't think so. None of those numbers are familiar. I think that's Basalt. Nice score. Nice moves. Okay, and he's going to make the edge pretty easily against, yep, and upfield. That was a close one. Oh my god! Dude, why are you taking so many massive hits? I definitely say pocket awareness is going to be a huge point of emphasis for him this offseason. Either he sees it and doesn't care, which he should care more, or he doesn't always see it. He's just so good at keeping plays alive that, I mean, I understand why he holds on to it, but you don't want to be taking this many hits as a sophomore in high school, my guy. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and restart this real quick. And oh, it is Roosevelt. Okay. What do you know? That's a good squad to be breaking off long runs against. But I'm going to go ahead and restart this real quick and, go ahead and iron out some of these grades and just make sure that we are all good to go here. Could push it a little bit further downfield, a little bit further. Very talented arm, though. Oh, my Lord. Why? Ugh! Oh, that pains me to watch. Dude, keep staying alive, staying alive. You can tell by the way I made these defenders. I'm a playmaking quarterback. No time to be sacked or something. What a dime on that one. That's sweet. You can't cut it much closer than that. I love when he's comfortable in the pocket. That's when any quarterback should be at his best, but really he just looks so comfortable. What a run. Boom, cut. He's like the combination of athleticism and power of the past two quarterbacks, but with like a times 1.1 multiplier or 1.2 multiplier. Fantastic arm strength. Well, bob and weave, run away! Nice snag. Good pass here. I'm going to mute myself and just let you guys enjoy our country tunes. What a block. All right, I think that we're at the point where we can start to discuss here after we kind of finish this video, because I didn't let it play all the way through the first time. So I'm going to let it play all the way through this time, and then we can discuss his rubric here. QB draw. Can't bring me down. I'm too strong. Shrug him off, too strong. Looking downfield. Nice little floater to the leaked receiver here. And he's just going to embarrass the defense. I don't know how to tackle. Sorry, I've been watching too much TikTok lately. Stretch the field on this one. Nice throw. Nice throw. That is insane. What the heck? Easy touchdowns. Wow. That defender was like jumped out of his own socks. Oh my. This is the angle on this? My brother in Glenwood Springs, if you are ever like this, you better be in the end zone if you ever do that again. That's all I want to say about that. But that's Joaquin Sandoval here. I'm going to even exit out of the max preps since we have the stats here at the beginning. So, not as many rush yards as I may have thought, but that's all right. So, let's go ahead and drag the rubric over here. Talk about Joaquin Sandoval's rubric here. So, Joaquin, I have him graded at a 64.6. This is one of the higher grade. This is the highest grade on the episode, and one of the higher grades I've given on a stream of some smaller school talent. And let's talk about a couple of reasons why. Look, this, you know what? This is honestly here. He has an incredibly gifted and powerful arm, and there's literally no doubt about that. He consistently shows that he can push it down the field, squeeze it into tight windows, and do everything else on top of that. On top, including that, he's a fantastic athlete who can run with finesse, he can run with power, he can cut back across the field, he has great field vision. He is a threat at scrambling with the football, and I think that equally matches his talents of arm power. Both of these are 3-star, nearly 4-star ratings here for Joaquin Sandoval, and a huge reason why you should be very excited as a Glenwood Springs fan. Furthermore, his arm accuracy is also there. He's very accurate. He can deliver into some tight windows. He can put, over the shoulders in the right place. He can put, posts in the right spot. He can throw a variety of routes in the correct spot. I think that his corner routes are the very impressive ones that are a huge testament to his arm accuracy, where he just floats it right into that breadbasket of that receiver on either side of the field, left or right. He does a great job of delivering those strikes. From time to time, he underthrew like once or twice there, or made a receiver have to stop to catch the ball. That is included in arm accuracy. That's why it's not at an 8, but it is still graded very high. Continuing on in Sevenville, I think that he has pretty solid mechanics. His throwing motion is fantastic. He does a great job of keeping his feet active while throwing, and he engages his body very well when throwing. The only thing that I'm not a huge fan of, and I am going to just increase this a little bit, the only thing I'm not a huge fan of is his footwork is a little inconsistent when he's moving around in the pocket or, scrambling and going from this to that. His base can get really narrow, and I feel like that's something that a defender could easily trip up and cause some sacks on. It's spectacular the way that he is able to stand up with just great body, equilibrium and balance to stay on his feet. And then throwing the run ability, I would grade this higher if I saw a lot more of it, if that makes sense. I think that it is a skill he has and one that he can do very well. But it's just something that I will have to see a little bit more of as time goes on. It's a skill in his bag, needless to say, and is easily a 2-star quality. I am not including like flipping it to your running back in this category as you run for your life. Okay, so we're just exiting the sevens here, but his timing on throws, while not perfect and lacking sometimes, is still very solid. When it does hit, it is spectacular. And, when it doesn't, it's not a world ender or a killer, but I can see, between a combination of timing and decision making here, that's where his interceptions probably come from, as well as, some good defensive plays on the ball. But, decision making and timing, that kind of will lead to interceptions. And, I think that his timing is off because his decision-making isn't always there. I think that he holds onto the ball for way too long. I understand that, a lot of the time it's to make a play. He escapes pressure. He's able to hold onto the ball for a really long time. But, you also have to think of your receivers. They can't run routes for 15 seconds every single play, and he does hold on to the ball quite a bit. And so that is why, in areas of improvement here, I do think that he needs to make quicker decisions this upcoming season. And just in general, needs to not hold on to the ball for a super duper long time. That's going to lead to sacks, big hits, fumbles, interceptions, just all kinds of turnovers, and is something that you are going to want to address heading into the future. Furthering on things that are areas of improvement, you can't really control frame/size. He's going to want to put on weight at 5'11". He's probably going to want to be at like 180 pounds if possible. Rather than like 160, he is a bit on the lighter side here. So the smallest frame out of all these quarterbacks. But the 5'11 isn't worrisome. You are going to want to put on some meat, especially if you're going to be flipping yourself around like Elway Jr. But going to things that actually matter a little bit more, I did note that he does notice the pocket collapsing. I think that he needs to be more attentive to it, honestly. I'm not going to include pocket movement when you're bouncing off of one guy, spinning around, shrugging off. That's all fantastic and skilled, but that's more out of your scramble ability, I think, rather than your attentiveness to detail inside the pocket. I think that part of that is going to come from watching film of your opponents, knowing where the pressure is going to be coming from, recognizing blitz packages, talking with your offensive linemen, and making sure that there's an open line of communication there. That's on you, the quarterback, too, that if your linemen don't notice a blitz or can't see it, to get your guys in the right setup and understand protections so that you don't have to be in a lot of these situations where, part of it is that you hold on to the ball too long, but also sometimes the blitz gets there and then you have to shrug off and shrug and dip, dive, twist, turn, do a whole hokey pokey, turn yourself around inside out, and then deliver the ball. Overall here for Sandoval, the things that you want to be there are there. He's got an incredible arm. He's insanely athletic. He can deliver, a pass to anywhere on the field. And, overall has very solid mechanics. You're not going to have to rework him entirely. Just, working on ladder stuff or tires. I think tires are better for getting your feet up, because they have that height to them that a ladder just doesn't quite have. But regardless, I do think that he needs to make quicker decisions. This is acceptable for a sophomore to be holding on to the ball too long. We saw this out of, freshman Beckham Kritza is another person who comes to mind. I did bump him up just a little bit for being able to throw to so many, but I need less when read and I need quicker releases on the ball. You can't be holding on to the ball for 5 seconds every play. That's just not realistic. So get rid of the ball quicker and or note blitzes and adjust to them in the pocket accordingly better. I think that his pocket movement is actually pretty okay. But his awareness, or at least acknowledgement, pocket acknowledgement, that's not a new category, but it kind of is for Joaquin. You got to acknowledge the pass rush a little bit more. But overall, he has all the raw tools that you want. I think that, as it stands now, he is knocking on that 2-star door. I think that he has, obviously he has the intangibles and physicals of a 2-star guy, and it's just going to take, a full year and, more volume and consistency to increase this. But I definitely think he could be a 2-star guy by the end of his junior season and potentially knocking on that 3-star upside. So, the upside of all of these young quarterbacks is up there. Joaquin obviously being the oldest, slightly reflected in, maybe his grade, but not more so, just the physical things that he's capable of that, these younger quarterbacks may be able to obtain. Andrew Heidel, gosh dang it, he's in Florida. That stinks. But, okay, so for our 3 quarterbacks today, we talked about Casey Midcap at a 57.2, Ty Reed at a 59.4, and Joaquin Sandoval at a whopping 65.8. I'm going to go ahead and put that in here. Final grade for Joaquin Sandoval, 65.8. Boom. If you guys have any comments / questions on any of the grades, go ahead and put them here. But that is our last player to be broken down on tonight's stream, and I will rename the stream, and this will be uploaded to YouTube. You know, that is where I watched this from. Let's go ahead and check out Playmaker's Corner on YouTube, where we are uploading our, some of our episodes, as well as, mainly our Twitch streams here. And we have an entire, little playlist just for you there. We also have YouTube shorts here that are like our TikToks and stuff, as well as interviews and whatnot. So go ahead and check all those out on YouTube. If you're not familiar with our TikTok, go ahead and check it out here. We are on TikTok. It's just at Playmaker's Corner. You can just look up Playmaker's Corner. We got lots of women's and girls flag football breakdowns, as well as, clips of our Twitch streams. If you guys want to catch up on any of those, it also lets you know what episodes we've broken down, end of the year awards and stuff like that. And stay tuned for, TikToks of players that we've already done breakdowns on. So, make sure to follow and subscribe to both of these channels. Not to mention, first off, follow all of those quarterbacks on social media today. On Twitter, Joaquin7Sando. Then you also had at Ty_Reed7 and at Casey Midcap. Remembered all of them. So, thank you so much. Is it Sandville Bombero 32? Sorry, I struggle with the username sometimes. But appreciate you saying that I was dead on. It's always not. It feels good to be appreciated sometimes. But let's go ahead and check out Playmaker's Corner here. If you want to follow Kodey Stauffer, that's cool too, honestly. But Playmaker's Corner, we are on Twitter at Playmaker Corner. We post all of our episodes when they're going to come out. Also retweet any announcements, any workouts. I mean, look, we have like Genoa here doing reps. We have commitments for women's flag football. And, we also announce our Twitch streams on here as well as our episodes. So this was our Twitch stream here, and it even had the link to take you to our Twitch, which you're already on here on Twitch. But if you're listening to this episode on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, because it will be posted to all of those if you want to re-listen, then go ahead and find us on Twitch and go ahead and follow us. Thank you so much. I believe that we're at 60 followers now. So thank you guys so much for pushing us into that affiliate range. We're going to check off the rest of our boxes and just keep coming by and staying tuned to this is one of our best showings, by the way. You guys rocked tonight in the stream, in the viewers. You guys were fantastic. So thank you so much for interacting. It makes it a lot more fun when I'm paying attention and when I'm not muted. So that all helps. We are also on Instagram at Playmaker's Corner. A lot of the same stuff, We got our TikToks. We got our episode posts. We got it all here, all of our announcements. Follow us on Instagram. We also post to our story quite a bit, and that's kind of where we put athletes on as much as possible. See if we can claw this up to 4,000. We'd really appreciate it. We're also on Facebook. If you guys want to follow us there, I know that this is more a parent platform, but nonetheless, we post here, and we appreciate 7 likes on that one. That's pretty high there. So, and I know that that's more convenient for some of our smaller towns as well. So that's why we have it as well. I don't think I'm missing anything. I will show you guys how to fill out that request form, as we try and help our seniors here at the very last second from Colorado fill this out. Any of our social medias, it'll be in the link tree, film breakdown request form. Just go ahead and fill this out fully if possible and submit it. The huddle link tree is probably the most important part. So thank you guys always for the support. And you're right. Glenwood always shows up. You guys rock with us really hard, and it doesn't go unnoticed when we do get support. We appreciate the support so much. And other than that, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and catch you on the next stream. Adios.